yeah, just a quick review of the Dr. Frederick's original copper arthritis gloves. So these gloves are made specifically for people that have hand arthritis and the symptoms that go along with that. They work two specific ways to help get rid of the symptoms that you have of hand arthritis. Number one is they provide compression. So what compression does is that it gets out the swelling. So if you have any swelling in the fingers and the joints, to get that swelling out, you're able to move your joints a lot better. And the more motion you get, the less pain you have, and the better your fingers function. The other way these things work to decrease arthritic symptoms is they provide warmth. So you put these on, your hands get warmer. We all know that heat helps arthritic symptoms. So, as your circulation gets better, hand gets warmer, you move them better, the stiffness goes away, and you're feeling better. A few points about these particular gloves. They do have an open finger design, which I really like, which means you'll be able to use your phone without any problems, the touch screen. And if you do activities that involve your fingers, like fine motor skills, like, if you're doing things like sewing or knitting, you like doing that, but you can't because your hands hurt, you can put on these gloves, get the pain relief, and still be able to do them because of the open finger design. So I really like that. The other thing I do like about these, they have a textured grip. So in other words, there's more friction in your hand when you pick up something. So if you have more friction in your hand, you're not going to have to worry about gripping it as tightly. Because a lot of times when people have hand arthritis, they can't really, they have a weaker grip. But if you have this textured grip, let's say you pick up a cup or something, the friction helps it stay in your hand so you don't have to grip it as tightly. So if you have a weak grip, that's okay. So these will really help you out. So permanent, temporary relief, how does this thing work? Well, basically, you put them on after about 30 to 60 minutes. Your hands get a little warmer, swelling goes out if you have any, and you're able to move your hands around better. But when you take them off, probably about 30 to 60 minutes later, swelling can come back if you have any, and the heat's wore off. So you're kind of back where you started. But I think there is a way actually to use these particular gloves in a way that you can get permanent relief and relief of your symptoms without having the gloves on. So we all know something like hand exercises. Exercise is a proven treatment for arthritis. It can either get rid of the symptoms or it can get them to a very manageable state. But you can't do any exercises now because your hands hurt. So what you do is you put these gloves on after about 30 to 60 minutes. You're able to move your hands better, and now you're able to do hand exercises. So as you get your hands stronger and more flexible week by week, then you're going to get more and more decrease of your symptoms. You have your hands get stronger, like say more flexible, they're going to feel better even when the gloves are off. So let's say you put the gloves on, you're ready to do your exercises. I'll just use this as an example, treat your own hand and thumb osteoarthritis. You might want to do something like range of motion exercises. So if you go to hand therapy or occupational therapy, they always have you do range of motion exercises. So why is that? Well, one big reason is because the joints in your fingers are synovial joints. Synovial joints have synovial fluid. Synovial fluid floats around in the joint and it provides nutrition to the articular cartilage. And it gets dispersed through motion. So every time you move your fingers around, then it spreads that synovial fluid around and that helps the articular cartilage. That can become a problem with arthritis. But hey, if you got stiffness and pain, you're not moving your fingers through the full range of motion or you're not moving them as much, you don't get the benefit of that synovial fluid being sloshed around the joint and helping out the articular cartilage. So range of motion exercises are really important. The other thing you want to consider doing, like exercise to make your hands stronger, only takes a couple of good exercises. Like this book advocates using a light dumbbell, like the finger flexors, your pinch grip. You do these a couple times a week, which is all you really need. Week by week, your hands get stronger. As your hands get stronger, you're able to do more things and the pain gets less because they just function better. Some people have base of the thumb arthritis, also called carpometacarpal joint arthritis, CMC joint arthritis, sometimes called basal joint arthritis. Basically, that's at the base of your thumb. If you have it, it's unmistakable. You'll know it. It's right there at the bottom, and it gives people a lot of problems. Anything you can do about it? Well, yeah, actually there is. There's a muscle called your abductor pollicis longus, and here's a good picture of it. See how it starts right at the base of the thumb where all the problems are at? If you get that thumb a lot stronger, and you're just talking about, like say, one exercise a couple times a week. This one uses a rubber band for progressive resistance. Yeah, week by week, as your abductor pollicis gets better, gets stronger, you're going to get more stability and better control over that joint, and you're going to have a lot less symptoms from the joint. So yeah, lots of things you can do if you know how. But hey, you can't do them now, but you put on the gloves, it'll enable you to do the exercises, then you get more permanent relief. So good gloves, check them out.